Danny had always wanted to be in the army. He joined up at 16 and was sent on his first tour shortly after his 18th birthday. The letters he sent home were from a young man living his dream. But all that changed after disturbing events Danny experienced not only as a soldier in the former Yugoslavia, but also as a contractor for private security firm Armour Group in Iraq. A lot of the blame has fallen on their doorstep, but the company, who've since been taken over by G4S, insists Danny wasn't sent to Iraq, but that he volunteered. They also claim the 29-year-old falsified medical paperwork. In a statement, they say, "We can only reiterate that we haven't washed our hands of Danny and are continuing to provide food, water, clothing and phone cards for him on a regular basis. We continue to provide him with a more than adequate duty of care." This, though, is the fourth time Danny's trial has been adjourned. Apparently, experts at Baghdad's Al-Rashad Psychiatric Hospital need to examine him, but that same reason was given for the previous delay.
The chance, really, that Danny can get an honestly fair trial in Iraq are very, very slim, I think. And the idea that they want to execute him is extremely troubling.
2 months will give Danny's legal team more time to gather evidence, but for his family it's another frustrating wait to see when or if their son can come home. Kath Brazier, Forces News, London.
Well, earlier I spoke to Danny Fitzsimon's stepmother and she gave me this reaction to the news the trial had been adjourned.
I have to say that we're very disappointed now. It's been 9 months and it seems to be really dragging, and the longer it goes on, the more stressful it is. So, yeah, we are disappointed.
But on the plus side, it will give more time for psychiatric assessment of Danny. What state of mind is he in?
I think the longer that he is actually contained out there in Baghdad, the worse his state of mind is going, to be honest, because he's not being allowed outside, and obviously he's not got access to visitors or family and friends, and so it's hard for him. So, yeah, that Danny should get away scot-free if he is found to have committed these crimes. We want him to have a fair trial, and then obviously we want him to serve any sentence that he is given.
What do you think the best possible outcome could be for Danny?
The best outcome for Danny would be that the trial happens, we get an outcome from the trial, and then we get him brought back here, and then we can pick the pieces up at this end. If he is given a sentence, then obviously the sentence will be served here, but he'll also get the treatment that he so obviously needs, because it's becoming more and more apparent to us that he is seriously poorly with PTSD.
How do you manage to carry on a day-to-day basis?
It's difficult. It is difficult. We just have to focus on the positives. We don't even think about the worst case scenario. We just think that, right, we'll get him back here and we'll get some treatment for him, whatever sentence he is given. We're obviously hoping that he will be acquitted, because, like I said before, there are circumstances, things have happened before the incident, and we want to get him back here.
Liz Fitzsimons, thank you for your time.
Look, I'm Clive Stafford-Smith, I'm the Director of Reprieve, and really I just want to be very brief here, because the point of this, and thank you very much for coming, is because we have Tariq Harb here from Baghdad. He's been incredibly kind to come all this way to meet with the family and meet with us, and also meet with the British government. Yesterday we had a meeting with in Parliament with Jim Dobbin, who's the MP who's been very good on all this, and also with the Ministry of Justice, and we're going from here this afternoon to the Foreign Office to talk to them basically about how the British government can help make sure that a British national doesn't get executed in Iraq, with all due respect to the Iraqi legal system. But there are some pretty horrific facts involved in Danny's case. I should say this preliminarily, that nothing I say takes away from the tragedy that's happened here and the tragedy for the victims in this case, and I don't want anyone ever to think anything different. But it's also very important to recognize that Danny Fitzsimon's was a huge victim himself, in the sense that when he was putting his life on the line for Britain, he was traumatized in ways that are difficult for us, I think, to truly comprehend, including when he was in Kosovo, including discovering the chopped up body of some small child who had been kind to the British troops and had been providing them with bread and stuff, who was viewed as a collaborator by the Serbs and was consequently chopped up and put in the water supply of the British troops in Kosovo. That is one of many instances that have affected Danny, and there is no doubt that he has been a victim of post-traumatic stress disorder and suffers from serious mental illnesses. And in that sense, we're here today because it's desperately important that he doesn't become another of the victims of this whole process. But what I'd like to do first, if I may, is just ask Liz Fitzsimons, who's Danny's stepmother, but has effectively certainly been his mother for much of his life, to say a few words.
As Clive has said, I'm Danny's stepmum, and Eric here is Danny's dad. We've come down from Manchester on the train, not last night, the night before, to meet Tarek and to say thank you to him, really, because he's come an awful long way to meet with us, and obviously that we can discuss many aspects of the case before he goes back. We're obviously in a very, very difficult situation, and I find this difficult to say, but our son is facing the death penalty in Iraq. He went in the army at 16, as Clive has said, dead enthusiastic. The letters that we got home from him when he first went in, you know, Dad, I can do so many press-ups. I'll lead the platoon when we're doing the running. And he absolutely loved it. But then things changed, and he went to Kosovo, he went to Afghanistan, he went to Basra. And whilst serving his country, he saw some horrendous atrocities. The one that we think affected him the most is the one that Clive's mentioned, where a young boy they made friends with. And remember, Danny himself at the time would only have been 18, so he's not that old. They made friends with the young boy, he would bring them bread, and then they found his severed body parts in the water supply. That would affect anybody. That would affect any of us here. It would affect anybody. And we think that's played a huge part in the mental illness that he now suffers from. He is suffering very badly with PTSD, very badly. We wish very much that we'd realised the severity of post-traumatic stress disorder before, because we would have tried our hardest to do something for him, but we didn't. Unfortunately, we didn't. And it's something that we think about all the time, and it torments us. We met, as Clive has said, we met with Jim Dobbin yesterday, and I would like to thank Jim Dobbin because Jim's been wonderfully supportive, as have the Foreign Office. We're on the phone all the time. And this afternoon we're meeting with the Foreign Office, but we need help. We need help from the British government, and we need help to try and save Danny's life. And we need fairness for our Danny. Thank you.
We respect Iraqi sovereignty, and the days when Britain went round the world lecturing people on what they should do are long since past. On the other hand, I think respect between nations includes the fact that another country should listen to Britain before they execute a British person. We do this in every country. You know, most recently, you'll know, of course, of Samantha Roboteur's case where Laos didn't execute her. So it's a perfectly reasonable thing to request. But I think that when you look at your British passport and it says on the inside front cover that Her Majesty's government expects protection for the individual, we expect also protection from our government in doing this. So there's no time you need protection more than when you're facing execution in another country. So that's why the British government obviously has a legal and moral duty to be involved. And
well, we feel that we've got a lot of support from Reprieve, obviously, and we've got a lot of confidence, obviously, in Clive and his team and Tarek. We feel we've built up quite a strong defence team around us, but that's why we are going to the British government and looking for support from them. because yes, we want a fair trial for Danny, and we're not sure we're going to.
Smoke in your eye, confusion at its best. Memories of slow motion, staring at the rest. And all of a sudden the picture freezes, and all hell breaks out. A quick fire decision, several soldiers shout out. Remember the soldiers, both sides of the wall. Remember the mothers who saw them fall. Remember the battles, neither of one. Remember the orphans and the parents of none. Oh God, bring peace to us all, to the souls of the dead. We have peace now for the blood we shed. God, bring peace to us all. Remember to have future, we must forget the past. Remember the horrors of war for the peace to last. Remember the leaders who've lied and scorned. Remember democracy should not bring war. Remember the soldiers, both sides of the war. Remember the mothers who saw them fall. Remember the battles, neither of one. Remember the orphans and the parents of none. God, bring peace to us all, to the souls of the dead. We have peace now for the blood we shed. God, bring peace to us all. God, bring peace to us all, to the souls of the dead. We got peace now for the love we share. God, bring peace. God, bring peace. God, bring peace to us all. To